Yo, what is happening, everyone? It's your buddy Aaron here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining to you guys and also working on the fix of how I am fixing the gas gauge issue in my G35. A lot of people across the VQ platform have been having this gas gauge reading issues, and there are a lot of different things on the circuit that can be causing that problem. It could be the gauge cluster itself, or it could be the two sensors, such as the fuel level sensors. One is the sending unit that is on the driver's side of the vehicle, and one is the fuel pump housing level sensor that is on the passenger side of the vehicle. We have our old one here. Since we are twin turbo, we were boosted, we would like a fuel return line. The level sensor got messed up. It's over here, it's on the ground. Took out the whole unit, saw this thing was just flapping around in there, which makes sense as to why it wasn't reading. So we are changing to a new, used fuel pump housing. This is an OEM housing. I always go with OEM housings because with the CJM fuel return kit that I have, it has a fuel regulator delete that only fits in the OEM housings. All of the aftermarket fuel pump housings have a different fuel pressure regulator fitting inside of the housing. So in order for us to use our CJM delete, since we have a fuel regulator in the engine bay of the G35, we can only use an OEM housing. OEM, Hitachi, Tokyo, Japan. We're going to be cutting up this thing to fit our large Walbro 485 fuel pump, as well as our return line and all the wires that power our fuel pump. We are running a relay, which I also believe is giving us issues with getting the car started. So the G35 has been beautifully sitting over here for 2 weeks because I couldn't get it started because the fuel pump's not priming, and my lawn guy is literally just cutting around it because there's nothing else we can do. I can't move it right now. So as you can see, we got our fuel pump removed, which I just showed you guys over on the bench. We have our sending unit right here. This sending unit is good to check. You can check continuity, you can check, make sure it's getting voltage, that it's reading properly, or you can just go ahead and replace it, and that will solve that. Moving over here, I ended up plugging in the new fuel pump without changing it, just to see if I can actually get a reading on my gauge cluster. Now, once I plugged in the new fuel pump, the gauge was still not reading. So I suspected that my gauge cluster was the problem. Now, there's actually a video on YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and link it down in the description, where you take it all apart, you take out your gauge cluster, and you just go ahead and add some solders on some resistors. It actually helped when I plugged my gauge cluster back in and I plugged my new fuel pump in. I didn't change it yet, I just plugged it in and I let it sit on top of here. I was actually getting some readings, and you guys saw that on my Instagram page a couple weeks ago. I was showcasing that I actually got my gauge working. So I had both of these out. I took this out, I took that one out. Well, it was already out, I just plugged in the new one, and I changed the level by my hand, and I can notice the fuel gauge was actually reading and going up and going down. So I knew I had to change the fuel pump out anyway. But yeah, my problem ended up being the fuel pump, as well as the gauge cluster needing some extra solder in those areas. You buy a little soldering iron for $12 from Home Depot, and you guys can fix your own gauge cluster. It's super easy. Check out the video in the description. This guy gives so many details on how to do it properly, and you can't mess up unless you break something, but you really can't mess up. So today we're gonna be swapping all of our mods from our old fuel pump to our new fuel pump. We're gonna put it in the car, and hopefully she starts up. Check it out, guys. We got our setup so much cleaner. We went ahead and used the JB Weld tank weld because it is ethanol resistant for the putty to kind of seal the wires and the holes that I drilled through the top. The CJM kit normally comes with its own sealer, but as you can see, mine is totally used and destroyed, and this would have been its third fuel pump housing that it's in, and it's time to retire it. It's got too many cuts and everything, so went ahead and made it a lot cleaner, sealed it up with the putty, and we should be just fine. Won't get any fuel out. Anyway, our fuel return is here. Our new Walbro 485 fuel pump has been installed, and it's all wired up, and this putty actually dries super fast, so we're just waiting for that to dry up just a little bit more, and we're gonna go ahead and install it. Just took the RAV4 over to pick up 4 gallons of E85. We're gonna go ahead and fill up the car with this. Fuel pump housing is looking pretty good. It got upgraded ground and power wires and upgraded ground to the chassis. We're gonna be relocating the ground. This is our fuel pump relay. I have it mounted right here. It does have a little ground that I'm going to be relocating, so I'm gonna go ahead and solder a ground wire to this, and we're gonna go right to this bolt right here. I'm gonna find a nut that goes on that, and we're gonna sand down the area, make sure it's a good ground. We're gonna clean it up real good so that we are getting a perfect ground to our fuel pump relay as well as a fuel pump. Definitely hard to film this, but it's okay. It's all boring stuff anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and just chop up some wires, solder it together, put it together, and hopefully we can get this thing started. All right, dudes, as you guys can hear, we got her started. We got the fuel pump in. Everything seems to be okay. Looks like our fuel gauge still isn't reading, and I really don't know what the fuck is wrong because I just put everything back in there. What the fuck? Also getting a little bit more fuel pressure. We're running about 60 PSI. I think we're tuned at like 56, so we're not too far off. Just happy that it's running, but man, I'm upset about that fuel gauge, man. I don't know, maybe when it moves around it'll adjust. Oh shit, what's going on? What the fuck? Oh dude, I just caught that on camera. This thing just started spitting fuel. Oh man, I don't think I locked it in right. Or maybe this lock is bad. Hold on here. Alright dudes, it has been a couple of days, but we do have the G35 pulled in here. It's running and everything. Luckily I was able to get it out of the grass and have the lawn guy come and correct the amount of overgrow underneath this car for those few weeks while it's been raining like crazy here in Florida. Anyway, we got it in the garage, and I did go ahead and rip out the fuel pump again, just to go ahead and inspect everything, and it looked like the level sensor arm, there's a little shield that kind of keeps the arm on there and in the right position, and the shield was loose, so I don't know if the level sensor got tangled on one of the hoses that plug into the fuel pump housing. It's very possible, so I was very careful with removing it, inspecting, and putting it back in, and I did put that shield to clip it right back into place. And it seems like the level sensor is reading a little bit of gas, and I'm not getting the check engine light anymore, which is the most important thing. That's what I really wanted to fix, just get that check engine light off. But it looks like we are reading a little bit of gas. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and take it on a brief drive just to make sure that that light does not come back on. Oh man, I love the way this car sounds. Sounds freaking awesome. Oh, gotta love that. Awesome, no lights, let's go. Alright guys, scanner's hooked up, no DTC codes, that's awesome. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for this video. Oh, what is that? I'm very happy that we went ahead and fixed the check engine light. That was the most important thing. I wanted to make sure that was taken care of. And so far, so good. I got to go fill it up and see if that level sensor is actually reading correctly, but at least we don't got the light on. A couple more things coming in the next video. We are going to be throwing our brand new Lasfit, their upgraded version of their LED headlight kit, into our headlights. And we're also going to be throwing in our aluminum side skirts. We're going to have to mock these up, cut them up a little bit, and fit them on the Jeep. Jesse and I picked up a LS430. This is the UL that everybody wants. Black interior. This thing looks so awesome on the inside. I don't want to open the door because the alarm is going to go off. But if you guys would like to see some content on this, we do have to fix the air ride system, do a couple repairs on the inside. These things are awesome. I have never been into the big luxury V8s and VIP cars, and this is one of those that are fairly iconic and presidential. I mean, it's got a freaking champagne cooler and massaging seats in the back, and it's a 2001. It's insane. Radar cruise, all that good stuff. So we're gonna be restoring this thing and making it awesome. Next video, more revamps on the G35. Thank you guys so much for watching. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe if you haven't, and I will be back with some more G35 content. Let's go.